How is this not a bigger scandal? How is the President of the United States able to travel to Scotland, spend 5 days on a golf course, not making any deals whatsoever while a war rages in Europe, wars rage in the Middle East? Hell, even domestically in the United States, things are a mess. Texas is recovering from a disastrous flood. Medicaid has been cut from millions of Americans. Veterans are struggling after DOGE shuttered and slashed large portions of the VA, yet Donald Trump would rather be in Scotland. Well, he can't get any peace there because people in Scotland are now rising up. I want to walk you through Donald Trump's golf trip and how it was pretty quickly disrupted. From the second that he landed in Scotland to now, he's still there. People are protesting across the country. This reads, it's day 2 of Trump's visit to his golf course in Turnberry, Scotland. No official meeting so far, just wasting taxpayer dollars while avoiding the Epstein scandal, which we will talk about. We'll talk about developments in the Epstein case, but I do want to run down what's been happening. In this clip, Robert Reich describes the cost that this comes to taxpayers.
Donald Trump has already spent millions of dollars worth of taxpayer money to play golf since his inauguration. This is happening as he slashes the federal workforce, guts funding for vital programs, and tees up major cuts to Medicaid to pay for more tax cuts for the rich. Hello?
I mean, that's why people are protesting not only abroad, but domestically. I made a video yesterday about a protest that I attended where union workers are saying, why are you taking away our social safety nets, things that protect the most vulnerable in our communities? Meanwhile, Trump...
There have been protests taking place against the president's visit in some cities in Scotland and questions about the scale of the visit and the security implications.
Yeah, on Saturday there were some protesters out on the streets in Edinburgh and in Aberdeen on this, and quite literally there is a steel fence that has been erected around the golf course. Unsurprising, of course, not just because it's the President of the United States that we're talking about, but also a president who survived 2 assassination attempts last year, one of them on one of his golf resorts.
I mean, look at the chyron at the bottom. Trump back on the golf course for day 2 of the Scottish visit. Dude, you're going to Scotland and you're just golfing the entire time, visiting your own golf courses. This is somebody peeing on the Trump International Golf Club Scotland sign. I had to blur it out because we're on YouTube and there are rules, but I thought this was worth including. What about this? Back in 2016, this is a photo from 2016. Janie Godley, a comedian, writer, and political activist, protested outside a Trump-owned golf course. Now, she has since passed away, but her sign, Trump is a cunt, lives on because people in Scotland were going around with signs that says, Janie says, you're still a cunt. Rest in peace, Janie Godley. One says, Trump is still a cunt. Over and over, people were using these signs in remembrance. It's a rather sweet thing, despite the language on the signs. Make sure you drop a like to help boost the message and to help boost these pro-democracy videos, by the way. But to continue, reminder, while America is struggling under skyrocketing prices that Trump promised to lower, brought on by asinine tariffs, Trump is off golfing in Scotland. And that lazy, grifting, pedophile-protecting bum is doing it on the taxpayer dime. Throughout all of this, he was sending out these Truth Social tirades in an attempt to distract from Jeffrey Epstein. Let me cover this very quickly because this article reads, Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking operation might have been bigger than we think. A Treasury Department report describes over 4,700 money transfers. I have a pretty good guess why the president wants this all to go away, says the writer of this article. Let me know, should I make a more thorough 15-minute video going in depth about the 4,700 money transfers, where they could have come from, how the Trump administration has intentionally covered up the Epstein list from day 1 getting in the office to now, and how this could all tie back into Trump and Jeffrey Epstein's relationship. I might make a video about that right after, but just to run through it, because I want to make sure we keep the pressure on when it comes to Epstein. I don't want there to be a moment where we are looking away. Of the endless stories about the relationship between the president and the dead, child-raping sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, this one seems to have scooted under the radar a bit. As the preposterous White House denials pile up, the attempted deflections are getting more and more insane. The work of Senator Ron Wyden, Democrat of Oregon, stands out as conspicuously unspinnable. Listen to this. Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon, the top Democrat on the powerful Senate Finance Committee, has been digging into Epstein's financial network for the past 3 years. So some people ask, why don't Democrats talk about this? They are. Democrats have been looking into this, have been talking about this, but Merrick Garland was kind of like a turtle as the attorney general. Literally, he would slow walk everything because he respected norms. But he respected norms so much that he allowed Trump to trample all over them by getting reelected. I mean, what I'm trying to say is he should have gone after Trump harder, swifter, faster, due to Trump's insane breaking of the law throughout the 2020 election. And due to Merrick Garland's upholding of the norms, we know that he wouldn't just randomly release the Epstein files. But Senator Ron Wyden has been looking into it. Some members of his staff have viewed confidential files that shed light on the immense sums of money that they say Mr. Epstein has moved through the banking system to fuel his vast sex trafficking network. In particular, filings by 4 big banks flagged more than $1.5 billion in transactions, and it was to 4,700 different people in offshore accounts. Where is this going? What is happening here? Who is this money going to? Why is Ghislaine in jail for sex trafficking when we don't know who she sex trafficked to? That is the main question. Now, listen, if you want me to make a video about this exact thing, about this exact operation and where the money went, make sure you're subscribed to the Adam Mockler feed. I'm going to get working on that right after this, right after I make another cup of coffee. But I want to finish this video off by talking about how Donald Trump is spending his time on the golf course. So this dude can't even spend his time brokering deals, whether they're peace deals or trade deals or domestic deals to get bills passed. He can't do any of that. Instead, he goes to Scotland and golfs for 5 days. But even when he's doing that, he's so bitter that he can't even enjoy himself. He's attacking Kamala Harris on the golf course for no reason because he's trying to distract. That's why I made sure to talk about Epstein, because I'm not going to let Trump talk about Obama, Kamala, Hillary, Comey, everybody, and distract. No. We are going to bring it back to Epstein and Trump covering that up. That's why I'm going to make multiple videos about it. But I just want to read this absolutely wild gobbledygook. It says, I'm looking at the large amount of money owed by the Democrats after the presidential election and the fact that they admit to paying, probably illegally, $11 million to singer Beyonce for an endorsement. That never happened. That number was completely made up. She never sang, not one note, says Donald Trump. Why are you angrily tweeting about Beyonce while you're on the golf course in Scotland? What a bizarre series of events. Just insane. He says $3 million for expenses to Oprah. $600,000 to a very low-rated TV anchor, Al Sharpton, a total lightweight, and others to be named for doing absolutely nothing. He then talks about investigating Kamala. Kamala and all of those that receive endorsement money broke the law. They should all be prosecuted. He's very intentionally trying to reroute attention away from Epstein. He then sends out, networks aren't allowed to be political pawns for the Democrat Party. It has become so outrageous that, in my opinion, their licenses could and should be revoked. MAGA. How can you say you're making America great again when you're eroding and removing the very guardrails that allow independent media or freedom of speech? The president shouldn't be placing his thumb on the scale of networks. And if networks shouldn't be political pawns for parties, what do you call Fox News, bro? Fox News lost $787 million in a settlement to Dominion because they lied about election fraud. Now they're being sued for another $787 million for lying about Gavin Newsom. This reads, wow, Comcast's NBC is down in viewership almost 28% this year. Their programming is terrible. Their management even worse. This was like 5 p.m. This was like midday when he was on the golf course. He's sending out these insane Truth Social posts. You know what? I'm going to get started on the Epstein video. I think this deserves its own video. A Treasury Department report describes over 4,700 money transfers connected to him. I'm going to do some research. I'm going to do some digging and come back to you guys with a video all about this. If you want to catch that, make sure you're subscribed to the Adam Mockler feed below. And if you click that post notification bell, if you click the little bell, then it'll ping your phone when I post the next video. I love all of you. I'm eternally grateful, and thank you for everything. Peace out.